So CCJ, 3-month quarterly chart here. So, value area fairly defined with this orange box. Um, we've got, since 2005, we got a good amount of data here to say, okay, well, this is a pretty decent trading range slash value area that CCJ has just started to poke its way through. Now, listen, we've seen it multiple times before. But the good thing is that we're holding some decent structure here, and we're just building a great base. And we know that we're probably in a pretty decent price range because historically, through the life of this stock, it has shown that. So, that's a pretty good deal. So, you've got a quarterly bull flag here that is just starting to peek its way out of its structure. So, we're going to wait to see what the follow through looks like. And as we zoom in, what are the chances of that follow through? So we'll see as we go. But, this structure here with a pullback to the 23% Fibonacci retracement, if you're a fib player and you look at these things and you start to look at what the fib extensions are and, to maybe make some targets or some guesses or whatever you want to do. So, a bounce off the 23% fib retracement implies in the fib world that there's a possibility that it could get up to the 23% extension. Now, does it do that? I don't know. But, what does that do? What does this extension do? Well, it brings you back up to that all-time high area, where is, officially what I consider the breakout for CCJ is if it takes this all-time high out. At the moment, our first contention that we're going to have to deal with above and beyond this level here is going to be 44.81. So when you look at this volume profile, we're going to start to come into resistance right at that level. So, and you can see that there's action here. We've had some multiple work here. You could probably even, if you wanted to, define another value area there. Um, you know, we could probably try to define another value area there. Hold on. I take that off for a second. So I would put it kind of like in this section here. So if you expand that value area, we're starting to work our way into that area. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Anyway, so that's the deal. Like, we're gonna be looking to see some follow through here on this 3 month, and we've had a great, healthy consolidation period right at this 23% retracement. We have, excuse me, an upward sloping 12 EMA that it's just tapping and riding along the way. So nothing red flaggy here. We're above this 200-day moving average as well, so that's good. So let's zoom in a little bit to the monthly. Yeah, so we've got a monthly uptrend. We've just confirmed that monthly uptrend. So now we've made our new higher low at 2369. So that's going to be the level of importance to me. And it just at the moment just happens to line up with this 26 EMA, this blue line, and we can see that there's multiple tests there where it's tapped and kind of held. So, and it's working its way back in, it's working its way up into this upper value area, which has less less resistance. So, all this action is very good. Um, I'm going to be looking to see what a back test into this value area looks like for no doubt for adding purposes for me in my personal portfolio. But as many of you know, I am a trader, so it's not that I would have an issue taking positions right here and right now, depending on the levels that I can work off of below. But for this monthly chart, it's good work. We just need to again see some follow through through this peak that it just kind of danced over just for momentarily. So I can zoom into the weekly now, and this was an area of contention here. So it started getting wicky, and it didn't have the follow through, and we saw a pretty decent rejection, which it's still at the moment was still maintaining its uptrend here, but subsequently it was turned into a bit of an EQ and some chop. So, we want to see what it does here again. Do we get the follow through that we need to get us into that next value area above? And we'll just kind of zoom again one more time into the daily. So, we all know it's a great move. Um, there's a bull flag that's confirmed, and we're seeing a little bit of consolidation. So, all this will be healthy consolidation, even if we pull back down into the 2980 area. As far as I'm concerned, that'll be very healthy consolidation. So, this is the now the level that's gained some importance to me. But you like to see this consolidation. Uh, less volume, and then on the next smaller leg up, yeah, we got more volume there. So that's pretty good. You want to see that. Again, this is going to be another name. In my opinion, the institutions are going to be flocking into URA, CCJ. These are liquid names that they can do it in. NXC possibly to some extent, maybe UEC, to a lesser extent those names, but CCJ, darling of the space, right? Chart proves it. So, you know, um, the question maybe comes up. I see it a lot on Twitter. Is this, am I FOMO buying here? Well, or maybe can I look for laggards or something to that effect? So, you can start to use ratio charts. So here we are on the daily. This is next gen versus CCJ. So, this is all CCJ outperformance over next gen, right? So, next gen got a nice little bounce here and then rejected down to even a lower level. So now NXE is working its way back up. It's got this, price level here that this ratio chart says, okay, well, if NXE gets above this price level, I'm going to be looking for NXE to outperform on CCJ in the short term because literally this is just a daily chart and we're focusing more on the short term action. So even if you look at this weekly chart, I would say that, CCJ is still got it right now, but NXE is starting to do a little work here. So again, this level is important. We can take a look at randomly EU Encore Energy, right? So not had some good, and we saw this with Encore had a great little run, and it was outperforming CCJ there. So CCJ is kind of getting a little bit of a handle on it. But it's always good to watch these ratio charts, especially the ones that are higher holdings in the ETF. So UEC, how is UEC faring against CCJ? Well, total underperformance. Now looking to make a little bit of a attempt at maybe taking over a little bit. So when you look at these ETFs and you see that there's fund flows coming in, and you look at a name like CCJ and you see the strength compared to the rest of the sector, well, how do I know is the sector still healthy? Well, I want to see these ratio charts start to make a move to the upside. I want to see UEC outperform CCJ. I want to see NXE outperform CCJ. I want to see Encore Energy outperform CCJ. Those are the things that are going to make me feel a little bit more comfortable with knowing whether the space is still just seeing healthy rotation. So U.UN, a little bit of a dog lately, right? Just can't seem to get to nav. Yeah, so you want to. I want to see these things outperform, and U.UN is, relatively speaking, with CCJ is just not the place to be for quite some time, right? So even if you look at this monthly, CCJ has been outperforming. Yeah, we've had some good periods, but CCJ exponentially has been outperforming lately, and it makes sense in the context of the CCJ chart and the price action. So I mean, these are the things I'm looking for. Why I always keep an eye on CCJ as the bellwether of the space, because I want to know if there's healthy rotation sector wide when CCJ starts to draw down. I want to see those come up. So here's UUU against CCJ, and we've had some underperformance, and it's still showing underperformance as opposed to look at NXE on the weekly. This thing is starting to test resistance. UUU is testing support. And again, this is a ratio chart, so it's just a question of how is it faring strength-wise against CCJ. Things to look at if you think that the sector is healthy, or you want to know if the sector is still healthy, and which laggards might have the best potential to make to show some relative strength against CCJ. Well, to me, NXE looks like it's going to be there. UEC looks like it's going to be there. One could say that UEC is even outperforming, is looking better than NXE because it's kind of. Let me just double check something here. Yeah, UEC has took out this zone of resistance and is now using it as support, and it's now testing its next resistance on this next leg. NXE is still has to deal with that. You could say maybe that it did it here already and then just gave a lot of it back. But I'm looking at UEC just kind of just made a nice little move in relative strength against CCJ on the very short term on the daily. The weekly is showing some, not much different than the NXE weekly. So, you'll get a better picture of them kind of performing the same, relatively speaking, as far as that's concerned. But certainly, UEC has a little bit of an advantage on this daily here. So, good to look at those things regardless if you're a trader or you want to, maybe go into laggards or find strength and weakness. But if you want to know what the health of the sector is, we want to look at all these top holdings in the ETFs and see how they are faring against CCJ. And does that give me, your R&Ms? Here you go, Cameco, Kazatomprom, U.UN, NextGen. Okay, so how are these guys, other names, faring against CCJ in being that they're the top holding? So good to keep an eye on those ratios against CCJ. CCJ, the darling in the space, now testing its upper value area. Let's see how it reacts. Uptrends are still confirmed. No red flags. Over and out.